Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are TwinFinity.
We are Twin Flames, back with another 11 video. Happy 11 day. So for this video, before we get into our 11 topic, Rob's going to tell us where we are.
We are at a place called Ribbon Creek. It's about a 5-mile long creek that runs from the middle of nowhere out to just about the middle of nowhere. But we are there anyway. Behind us is the creek itself. Ta-da! And around us, I'm going to take you for a little tour, a little spin-o-rama. There's us leaving. We have trees, and we have valley, and we have sunshine. And over there is a place called Ribbon Peak, and we've got the trees right beside us, and we have us. Now I've just been unscrewing our tripod, so now I got to put it all back together so we don't wobble around too much. Going back, peak, valley, trees, and we are back to us.
And hopefully you didn't get terribly dizzy through that little adventure. And if you did, sorry.
And also, I might be helping Angie stand here just a little bit because she's standing on a wobbly rock.
Yes.
And a little bit of a wobbly log just to be tall enough.
Believe it or not, sorry to interrupt you, I was just going to say, it's a heart-shaped rock and it's a big one, but it's kind of tippy.
So you might just see me keeping her stable.
Yeah.
And if we happen to duck out of sight for just a moment, it could be because I'm swatting a horsefly. A few of them have found us as we've been setting up.
And they bite.
They chomp. They like to take away a piece of us.
Yes. So, on to 11 videos. If you're not familiar, we do a video on the 11th of every month. We'll link the other ones in case you want to watch them. And hopefully you can hear us through the wind, because it's been a fairly calm day and now the wind has decided to come out just because we're doing a video.
It's about how that normally works.
Yes. So, for today's 11 video, we are talking about templates. So it's 11 templates Twin Flames are here to break or clear. And we'll explain what we're talking about when we mean templates. So for many people, they have been on the journey and on the Twin Flame path long enough to know that this isn't just about a journey of meeting this amazing love and getting into union and then having this romantic happily ever after. We're actually here to do so much more as a couple, as an individual on the path, and as a collective as Twin Flames. And one of those reasons that we're here is to help the earth, all of humanity, break and clear some old ways of thinking, old beliefs, old patterns. So we've often come into this life, this body, choosing before we came here, while we were still in soul form, choosing some hard lives, some challenging roads ahead, so that we can not only work on clearing our own energy, but helping clear for humanity. And as you also know, this isn't just a journey about love. This is a journey about helping all of humanity understand what true love is, what real unconditional love is. So we're here to clear a lot of the beliefs of what love, people thought love was, what people believe love should look like, or how people should act in love. And that's why we got our love stuff on. We got to bring the love. So we're here to clear a lot of the templates to show and bring in unconditional love to the earth to help with the ascension.
Now, just to be clear on this, you don't have to be in union to be clearing these templates.
Right.
This is something you can work on while you're on your way to union. One moment. Just had to unconditionally love a horsefly with the side of my hand. Sorry about that, bug.
Oh, you might have a necklace trying to come off.
Oh, gee.
All right.
Well, how about that?
Here, if you can hold this,
I got the list.
I'll fix this. We can't lose our love.
So yes, you can work on breaking templates all on your own, within your own social circles, or within even the social circle of the world. And well, you're still working on getting into union.
Totally. So on that note, we're going to list 11 different templates of these, of course, like we say in all of our videos. This is not an exhaustive list. There's many more templates maybe that you might be working on that we don't even know about. So we always say feel free to share them in the comments, because it might help somebody else that's going through that. They might go, yeah, thank you, I needed to hear that.
And these templates also are not in any particular order of importance, because any of these templates could be what is important to a person at any one time.
Totally. One of the most common ones, though, that we listed as number 1 is age. So it's quite common for twin flames to have an age gap in their kind of connection. So for us, it's 10 years, which really isn't a lot. There's some people with less, though. There's some people with more. There's some people that have 20, even 30-year
30
age
years,
gaps.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's not uncommon at all. Of course, because society believes that you should be the same age or a similar age, or if anything, the man should be older than the woman. And there are some people where that's completely reversed, that the woman is the older one. And she might get judged by, regular society going, wow, aren't you a cougar, or what do they call it, a cradle robber?
Yeah.
But it's to show that it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still have a true divine love connection in any age.
And also, age can also be related to the amount of wisdom that a person is perceived to have. Sure, you have maybe more life experience as you get older and older, but there are some very wise, very young people out there. So to get away from the judgment of age and wisdom, it's important to remember that someone that's 15, 20, 25 years old could have a lot of wisdom to impart in an area that they have had experience with, or in an area of knowledge that they've just brought with them just through their intrinsic being.
Totally. Or even because as twin flames, we've often lived many lives previously, or even concurrently, and we have a lot of wisdom from soul, just not from our human self in this life only. We have a lot of soul wisdom from many previous lives, many previous experiences. So it doesn't matter what our ages are, we might have a lot of wisdom irrelevant to the age. So the next template.
Well, it says sex, but I think what we really mean is gender.
Yes. And just to clarify, what society believes is normal love or proper love is man, woman, that's it. And so again with twin flames, and of course most of these are not just twin flame specific that we're going to be talking about, but they're common within the twin flame community as templates that we're here to break, is that we don't have to just be man and woman. We know some twin flames that are both females.
So yes, and it's another aspect that's coming in that I think a lot of society is still trying to ignore, is people who have been able to see the medical profession and start to change their gender and changing their gender. That's a whole nother aspect, but that is also something that doesn't need to be judged. People can make choices and they can have choices.
That's
it
right.
should be celebrated if somebody can make a choice for something that they want to have and be able to accomplish that.
Yes. So it's breaking the template of love only looks like this. A man, a woman. And we have a low battery on our phone, so hopefully it'll allow us to get through this. I don't know.
I think it will.
Okay, well, we'll try and be speedy without missing any knowledge. Next one is race or culture.
We had them separate to start with, but really it all blends right back together to judging someone by either how they speak or how they look.
Yeah, so society says that you should marry or you should love within your same race, within your same culture. There's a lot of cultures out there that say you must marry within this culture or we will abandon you. We will reject you from the family. And twin flames have chosen to experience that in some places, I actually have worked with some people in that realm where one is from one culture, one is from another culture, and one of the twin flames family says, look, if you choose that person, you're out. We will disown you. And that's a really hard experience to choose on a soul level and then have to play out in human form. But twin flames are choosing to do that to show their families, look, at this is what true love looks like. Like, why does true love have to be with one person or one culture only? And this is where families then open up, because when they actually see the twin flames together, even if they don't understand what a twin flame is or know that they're twin flames, they see that this is a real love. They're like, wow, you truly love this person. And that's what then helps the family start to open up and start to let go of some of their rigidity around what they believe love should look like.
Over the past 50 years, there's been a lot of growth within the cultures to trying to accept that what used to be called interracial relationships, well, they're now accepted, but a lot of people will accept it as long as it's someone else,
Yes.
someone else's family. They still a lot of trouble accepting it within your own family. There used to be an old saying that you stayed within your own age, your own race, and your own religion.
Yes.
That, boy, other than me saying that now, I actually haven't heard it being spoken that way, that directly, for many years now. And that's very, very nice to see.
Yep. So yeah, that's partly us as twin flames, all of us as a collective doing that, but also many other people too, right? We're all working together on a same journey, even if we're in different spiritual or different practices.
Speaking of which, religion, that is their next point.
Yes.
Wow. Religion is a tough one. It's one that I don't want to say struggled with, but I've grown with over the years. I had a thought when I was younger that I noticed that most religions, as much as they maybe had different roots, different origins, they seem to be practicing the adage of be kind to your neighbor, be good to your fellow human. They ultimately expressed that common goodness, even though they practice it from a different point of view. And I learned as a young person that really most of the religions or practices that would resemble religions in the world were all based upon a common goodness. They were just interested in portraying it in their own way. I looked past the portrayal and have celebrated in my life that I enjoy all religions, because I really haven't found a religion that truly says go out there and be a mean, miserable person all your life.
Yes. Next one, number 5 is language. So of course there's a belief in our society that you have to speak the same language, because how can you share love if you can't even communicate verbally? But we all know that is not true. You can experience love without speaking a verbal word at all, because love is an energy, it's a connection. It has much more boundaries than just the spoken word. So there are twin flames out there that don't even speak the same language or barely speak the same language, and they're trying to have a relationship and a connection through, thank God for technology nowadays, because you can do that at least.
Electronic translators.
Totally.
Totally. They can work miracles until you develop other ways to communicate.
Yes. So learning to work through those barriers of communication and finding different ways to communicate. Telepathy, right? That's a great one for twin flames. So, number 6.
Time.
And of course, most people believe that you can't love somebody for 30 years, even if you haven't seen them for that long, because of course it's not uncommon for the twin flames to have long separations like we did. And most people think, well, if you loved them a long time ago, that's old news. Like, move on, right?
Well, even myself, I I used to think that when a relationship seems to have run its course, that it was done, it couldn't restart, it had had its time. That's how I used to strongly think, and I would never give anyone or myself with anyone else a second chance. Okay, that template got all smashed to pieces in my mind. I had to rebuild that when Angie just seemed to withstand the bonds of time. There was just nothing that time could do about this, so I had to do the changing. That was a big lesson that I learned.
Yep. Next one is similar to time. It's distance.
Just one moment, I have to move. Not because of a horsefly, but because my foot has been slowly falling over and it won't move well if I stay here for another 10 minutes.
Yeah, we still have to hike back out of here. So distance is often, twin flames have kind of connected over the internet. Again, thank God for technology. They've never even met in person. And people will be like, well, how can you have a connection with this person? How can you love them? Like, you've not even met them. But you don't have to meet to know what true love is. You just know. And I've had that, I'm sure you've had that, many people have had that experience when you've connected with somebody on the phone. That's how we first met. It was over the phone.
You talk with someone over the phone, you've never seen them before, but yet you can feel a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another template, is for people that think, well, no, you have to see somebody face to face and you have to spend time with them and you have to like hold hands with them and touch them to know that you really have love. Not at all. Next one is a challenging one for some people.
This one's delicate to talk about.
It kind of is.
Money/education. That would be back into different social circles. Social circles themselves are templates.
Yes.
So money and education, it's interesting how that does not get in the way of some relationships. They can see past all that and just see the person for who they are. And in other relationships, it completely tears them apart because of expectations. One wants to live the high life and the other one can't.
Yep. Or you have, again, that the couple is fine with the difference in stature, but the family, maybe the family that has money, has an issue, and they're like, no, you can't be with that person because they're not in the same status. They don't wear the same kind of clothes. They don't drive the same kind of fancy car. They haven't had the same schooling that you've had. Unacceptable. You cannot love that person. You can't be with that person. So again, it's working through that and having to stay true to yourself and be on the course that you know is right, even if your family, your friends, whoever is judging you or criticizing you for loving the person that you love.
You know, this is another one where people seem to be okay with the thought of different educational or financial levels between people as long as it's not them. With all the movies that have been made, like say the Hollywood movies or Bollywood or whatever about rich person, poor person getting together, they still make movies about it because it's still a trigger in just about all of our societies.
Yep.
But yet, you know, most of the movies say in the end that aside from all the struggles, it's still all possible in the end. And we need to start to recognize that. Love sees past the pocketbook.
Yes, exactly. Next one is abuse and trauma. So a lot of us have chosen the template of growing up in either an abusive home or experiencing abuse, whether it's sexual, like rape or something like that, or even just bullying. We have chosen hard lives so that we can not only heal from it ourselves, but then speak out about it, have a voice to share with the world that, look, this is happening. It didn't just happen to me, it happened to that person, that person, that person. And the more we bring awareness to it, the more we then help clear those templates.
Now, I also have a completely different take on this from a point of view that like tends to find like when you're dealing with relationships. People that have come through abusive relationships tend to be able to find each other because they have a common bond of understanding of how tough that can be. There is a template out there that says that if you've had an easy upbringing, you tend to find people with easy upbringings, and that people that have had a tough upbringing, tough experiences in their lives, tend to stay with people that have had tough experiences in their lives. That's just another template. You can have people that have got very functioning relationships, even though they had very different experiences as they were growing up.
Yeah, and you might have, for example, even in your own twin flame journey, you might be the one that's gone through a lot of trauma, whereas your twin has kind of had a nice, easy, smooth life. So it's your template more to clear than theirs, but of course you always work together, even if it's not in physical connection or union. You always have that connection working together on the higher realms and the higher energy levels. So even if it's just your template, or it feels like just your template, what I'm trying to say is you're still always working with your twin, even on the higher realms, to clear that together.
I've always found it interesting that Angie had the tougher family template, where I had the tougher social template.
Yes, absolutely.
So between the two of us, we had a couple of the major angles covered, and really that never really became part of our understanding of who we are, I think, until we came back together after our many years of separation.
Yeah.
So it didn't get in the way of our initial love at all.
Yeah, that's true.
It did affect angles of our
Did.
initial.
Yeah, we had to work through a lot of stuff.
So the triggers were there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, okay. That's a tough one.
Speaking of tough ones, this is a tough one for some people.
Marriage.
Next, yeah.
Hi, we are actually on a different segment here. We ran into a battery issue, and right at the end of abuse/trauma, we ran out of battery power on the device we're using, so now we're using a different device.
Technology.
So I will say welcome back, but for you it's just a blip, and maybe a change in volume, and maybe a change in device recording angle. So point number 10, template number 10, is what we're going to loosely call marriage.
Yes, so as I try and regain my balance here too. So yeah, often our society has a belief, and thank God that's actually already changing and has been for many years, but there's a belief that marriage should be forever, and that it doesn't matter if there's abuse in the relationship, if it doesn't matter if there's unhappiness, you committed to staying with that person, so you stay forever. And so, our society celebrates length of a relationship rather than happiness in a relationship. And that's one of the templates we're here to start to clear, is that relationships should be about love and about being happy and celebrating, instead of just getting through another year and saying, okay, well, even though I'm not happy in this, and even though it's pure hell, I'm in it.
Well, the word that started out this point was marriage, but any committed relationship, whether it's been formalized through something that's been done in front of our society and our friends and family or not, any of those very committed relationships can fall apart. You can start out with a fantastic relationship, and things can happen. Things change over time, sometimes to the point where, as much as a person should, and I still believe they should try very, very hard to keep a relationship going once it's become committed on any level, sometimes it can't. If the relationship becomes unhealthy or abusive, there is a point where that relationship needs to move on. That's a belief that I have. And I don't have that belief because I have been in a marriage before that has broken down, and I've learned how to forgive myself for that. I'm not in favor at all of staying in a bad relationship. So the template of you must suffer through until death do you part, as much as it's noble, as much as it sounds good, sometimes it's not correct. It's not worth destroying a living life over.
And it's also common for twin flames to either meet their twin while one or both of them are married to somebody else, or to want to come into union, be ready for union when one or both is married to someone else. And it's often like you feel like you're breaking up somebody's marriage, or you have to break up your own marriage. And you get a lot of judgment or criticism from family, from friends, from maybe your church or your religion. And so that's again another hard template that some of us have come to clear, is that showing that, you know what, yes, I committed to this relationship, but it's no longer the right one for me. And it's been helpful for me, and I've learned a lot, but it's time for me to move on. And to be able to have the courage to move on, even if it feels like you're hurting your friends, your family, the person that you're married to.
Yourself.
Yes. And if you know our story, you know we've both been through that. Neither of us were married to our previous people, but they were very long-term committed relationships that felt like a marriage. So it was very hard to do, but it was part of our path, and it's a common path that twin flames go down.
It's a very, very tough set of decisions to live with. It's very hard to live with yourself on it, but if you have come to the point where you've made that decision, it's from what other people have said, if you make that decision that you need to move on from a relationship, and then you don't follow through, that's sometimes even more painful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bigger letdown to not do what you know is right to do.
For yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Last one that we have listed, number 11.
It is death. And we didn't put death at the end of our 11 points because it's usually the end of a life. It just happened to end up to be point number 11.
And so why this one is a common template for, and I actually shouldn't say it's common, though it's becoming more common, I have seen, you know, in the twin flame groups and stuff. So first of all, just back up. It's a belief in society that once you die, you're gone, or even, you know, lots of people believe that we carry on in a higher realm, but they don't believe that love carries on. So they may believe that once you die, then you're done with that relationship, that marriage. I mean, that's why even marital vows say till death do us part, right? Because it's then, okay, now that soul is freedom, go on.
I believe that to death do you part is something that allows life and death to not become so complicated that it becomes confusing for people who are firmly entrenched in the 3D realm. Death doesn't really do anything part. It really is a change to a different continuation. It is not an ending to a black hole of despair. Yes, and many people do believe that when you die, you move on to a different plane of existence. But you don't lose what you've had here. I really don't believe that you lose what you have had here. You actually tuck it away in whatever an angelic hip pocket would be, and you carry it with you into the next realms.
And that's why there are some twin flames who their twin has passed, or they have passed and their twin is the one left here, but they still have a connection. Their love carries on, their connection carries on, their relationship carries on. We have mentioned several times in previous videos that one of our dear friends that we've actually met several times within the twin flame community is in that situation, and she shares that in her own set of videos and whatnot, is that her twin is on the other side, but yet she is very connected with the other soul. And they actually just got married this summer in spiritual form.
In spiritual form.
Yes.
3D, marrying someone who's in the higher dimensions.
So that's another template, is to help people understand that death is not an end. Death is simply a transition, and that love never ends. True love carries on for eternity.
I agree.
Yay. So we made it to all 11 points. It took us 2 videos to do it. Hopefully they'll splice together nicely.
Actually, to be real honest about this, it took 3 videos.
That's true.
We've really had a technological challenge this time. But you know, a little bit of perseverance. Sometimes when something fails, it's not a signal that you're supposed to stop. It just means that you're supposed to maybe start over, maybe do it a little different.
Or it just means you're having a bad technology day.
It really doesn't have to mean anything at all, to be honest. Yes, I agree.
So please share if you are somebody that's dealing with other templates that we haven't mentioned, if you're clearing something or know of somebody even that is, because it's always great to have some relevance. You know, of course, like we always say, our journey is one journey. There are many journeys out there. Yes, as a collective, we're here to bring unconditional love, but we're all doing it in our own way. So you might have different experiences that other people might relate to that we aren't having and can't share or don't know about.
There's so many different ways of expressing the point of view of a template that I'm sure that there's going to be many others that are going to be talked about in the near future.
Yes.
Okay.
So we will say goodbye and we'll carry on with our hike. Once again, happy 11 day. And we will catch you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. We love you guys.
Bye.